Welcome back to our 5-minute daily shir number 6. And we move along in the Chayvus Lavavus. Says the Heilige Rebbe Azai. If you don't rely on the Eibishter, you're going to have to rely on something else. A person goes through life relying on someone or something. You cannot go through life without relying on someone, right? Either rely on yourself, or you rely on other people. But the best person to rely on is the Eibishter. But if you don't rely on the Eibishter, you're relying on something else or someone else. If somebody relies on someone besides the Eibishter, Eibishter takes off his hashkocha off this person, and he allows you to put your reliance on someone else. He says, the Eibishter says very simple, either rely on me, or you rely on other people. And if you rely on other people, go right ahead. It's all yours. You have Bechira, choose who you want to rely on. Either me or other people. And he quotes a pasuk Yirmiyahu. So let's start with a simple example which we all understand. For example, you have a father who is the most amazing father. He takes care of his kids. He gives his kids the right house. He gives the kids the right environment, the right chadurim, the right mentors, the right everything. He's the most amazing father. And this father decides to take one of his kids into his business. And he enters his father's business. His father gives him the right job, the right mentors, the right learning, everything. The father is giving him, his child, everything he needs to succeed. After a few years of being successful in the business, the son decides, I like the guy, my father's manager. I want to start relying on him. And he starts asking him for help, asking for clients, asking for ideas. And the father says, look, go right ahead. Either you rely on me, or you rely on someone else. And then the Chavos quotes a pasuk in Yirmiyahu. So let's give a little background to the pasuk, so you can understand the depth of the pasuk that Chavos was writing. Yirmiyahu starts in Perek Beis Azai. Vayidra Hashem Elai Leimar. Yirmiyahu is saying, Hashem came to me and said like this: Halach v'karasa v'azay Yerushalayim. Go out and scream in the ears of Yerushalayim Leimar. Koi Amar Hashem. Zacharti la chesed na'arayich. I remember the chesed of when this nation was young. Ahavas kulosayich. Lechtich achrei ba'midbar ve'eretz lo yizaliyah. This nation who we really knew the Eibishter. It was a new Eibishter to us. We were stuck in Mitzrayim for so many years, and the Eibishter took us out of Mitzrayim, and we relied on the Eibishter. We relied on the Eibishter. We went out to Eretz lo yizaliyah. We went to the Midbar. There's nothing in the Midbar. But we relied on the Eibishter 100%. The Eibishter says, I remember that. We say it's in our Shuna every year. We relied on the Eibishter's chesed, and the Eibishter always remembered that we relied on his chesed, that we relied on his emunah, and the betachah, that Hashem is going to take care of us in the Midbar. And then he continues. But now the Eibishter says to Yirmiyahu, now Kayam Hashem, now in the last 100 years, you start relying, Ma'amatsu, Abayseichem, Bi'adol Kirachakim Elai, they distanced themselves from me. They went after new reliances, they found someone else to rely on, a new manager to rely on. And what? They didn't ask, where's this Eibishter that we relied on so many years ago? Who took it out of Mitzrayim? That the Eibishter tells us, I took you through the Midbar, where there was nothing to eat, nothing to drink, there was darkness, and I gave you anana covered, I gave you food, I gave you water, I gave you everything. I brought you to the most splendid land in the world called Yisrael. We had everything. And what happened? Your leaders, your kahanim, your spiritual leaders, and your regular leaders, they forgot about me. They started going to do what they desire. They started going to do, start to rely on people that weren't supposed to rely on. You Christ also started doing that. And then I quote the pasuk, which Achel quotes, Kishtayim rois asahami. Two things they did wrong. Aisi azru, first thing they did wrong, they abandoned me. They forgot what I have done for them. They abandoned the reliance on me. And the second point, you started relying on other people who can't really help you. So this father turns to the son and tells him, you did two things wrong. The first thing, you abandoned me. When you abandon me, you forget everything that I've done for you in the past. You forget all the chesed, all the nights I stayed up to take care of you, and all the rebbes I gave to you so you should be a better person and a better worker. You forgot all that. And the second crime you did was, you started relying on someone else. Now someone else who doesn't even have the power to help you. You're relying on me. You're relying on my powers as the boss. The Abishter says, you start relying on the Zudas. Could be the Zudas can help you out. But who are they relying? They rely on me. I am the ultimate boss. So when a person doesn't rely 100% on the Abishter, starts relying on other people, starts relying on other forces, on the boss, on the lottery, on the stock market, two things you're doing wrong. You're leaving the Abishter, and you're starting to rely on things that have no power for themselves. Because the person that controls is the Abishter. I wish upon you, all of you, a wonderful day, and don't forget that all the money you're going to make and all the produce you're going to make comes from one person, the Abishter. So rely on it, and don't forget to make a lot of money. I'm getting done.